My Shadow by Robert Louis Stevenson. I have a little shadow that goes in and out with me, and what can be the use of him is more than I can see. He is very, very like me, from the heels up to the head, and I see him jump before me when I jump into my bed. The funniest thing about him is the way he likes to grow, not all like proper children, which is always very slow, for he sometimes shoots up taller like an India rubber ball, and sometimes gets so little that there's none of him at all. He hasn't got a notion of how children ought to play, and can only make a fool of me in every sort of way. He stays so close beside me, he's a coward, you can see. I'd think shame to stick to Nursey as shadows stick to me. One morning, very early, before the sun was up, I rose and found the shining dew on every buttercup. But my lazy little shadow, like an arrant sleepy head, had stayed at home behind me and was fast asleep in bed. Robert Louis Stevenson was a very famous poet. He lived a long time ago, so some of the words you might not have heard are explained below. Nursey, the person who took care of a child in the poem. You can see that right here in line 12. Errant or errant, meaning total or complete. You can see that located right here in line 15. Question 1, Part A. Reread these lines. What does the speaker of the poem mean? I have a little shadow that goes in and out with me, and what can be the use of him is more than I can see. Does that mean his shadow is feeling bored? His shadow is inside his body? His shadow moves with him, or his shadow plays with him? Part B. Which phrase from the poem best supports the answer to Part A? A little shadow goes in and out with me, be the use of him, or more than I can see. Question 2 asks, Part A. Which of the following words best describes the child in the poem? Is he adventurous, exhausted, observant, or lonely? Part B. Which line from the poem helps support your answer to Part A? And what can be the use of him is more than I can see, and can only make a fool of me in every sort of way, and he sometimes gets so little that there's none of him at all? Or D, I'd think shame to stick to Nursey as the shadow sticks to me.